Okay guys, not sure if you heard, but it is supposed to snow tonight, possibly 5 centimeters. And like these things happen. It doesn't happen often, it doesn't happen every year, but it happens. So I'm just out here doing some preps for the garden. There's not a whole lot we can do. Most things are gonna be fine, even if they do get a bit of frost on them, like their leaves are gonna shrivel up a bit, and they may lose those leaves, but the roots underneath will send out new ones. So because it's only one night, slash into Wednesday, it might keep snowing through the day. They should be fine, but some of the preps that we're doing, so my onions, I had extra onions that I had just been leaving out. So here's another good thing, grow extra. I mean, they say you can always put your onions out like 3 weeks before your last frost date. But if something goes wrong and I lose my crop of onions, I've got more to plant. So the ones that are already in the garden should survive, but if for some reason they didn't, we have backups. All the other cold hardy stuff, I mean not cold hardy stuff, is in the house. So that's basically everything else, all my plants. Tomatoes and peppers, obviously, even I've brought the cabbages in, like cabbages, kohlrabi, like all the brassicas are good with cold weather, but they are just little baby seedlings, and because I can bring them in, why not, right? I thought about leaving them here in the garden shed, but the garden shed isn't really insulated. Like it is a little bit, but I keep track of the temperature in here, and it's not much warmer in here than it is outside. So this is going to be just enough to keep the frost off of things. It's kind of like when you put a frost blanket over things. So just putting stuff in the shed will keep things from freezing. So these are my pansies, which I started from seed. And so what I'm going to do is just pop this little clip off, if I can. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to put them in the greenhouse. The greenhouse isn't really going to keep them any warmer per se, but what I am going to do, and here's a little trick. I've used this a few times now. These are little lanterns. So you put your tea lights underneath here, and then there's this size terracotta pot, and then there's one smaller underneath it. I'm just gonna get it out of the wind here. So what those do, you put the tea lights in, the small terracotta pot heats up, and it lets out its heat. When it lets out its heat, the slightly larger terracotta pot absorbs that heat, and then it will radiate the heat. So for like 3 tea lights, you're trapping quite a lot of heat, and then I can put that into the greenhouse. Once I blow the tea lights out, put it into the greenhouse, zip it up, and that will heat just the smaller little space that is in here. So that is a trick if it's really dire needs and it's freezing. Don't ever leave your tea lights unattended. I know they say it's safe. People use these apparently on like boats and stuff and go to sleep with it. That freaks me out. Don't do that. Don't. Never leave your tea lights unattended. So, this is all the preps for plants. What we're gonna do after is get out there. This is just a little thin sheet, like it's quite thin. It's not anything fancy. And I'm gonna go outside and sort of assess where I think I want to put it. Possibly, I don't even know. I'm gonna go walk around. The spinach is gonna be fine. It survived the winter and it wasn't covered. The beets are barely even up. So if I lose like 4 or 5 beets that have already come up, no big deal. I can replant that. The broad beans are tough. Like they don't mind a bit of snow. So I don't know. Peas are pretty tough. I could maybe put it over the pea bed. Could put it over the onion bed. Let's go for a quick walk around. Let's see. Maybe you can help me decide. Okay. So, do we cover the radish bed? I say no. I say no because they're radish and I can plant new ones and it wouldn't be a big deal if I lost my radish. But lots of seeds, radish, not a super important crop. These little arugula, not too concerned about them. Can always replant if I need to. So no, I'm not going to cover that. This spinach already survived winter, and it wasn't covered the whole time that it was out here, so we're not going to cover the spinach. I'm going to cover the lovage, this guy right here. Whoops. And what I'm going to do with him, I think I'm just going to put like a bucket over it, like a flower pot bucket. Not too concerned about the broad beans. They're pretty tough. I think the roots are stable enough that even if we get some dying back of the top leaves, we will have it shoot up new leaves from its roots. So I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see here. Cilantro and this guy, again, they survived the winter uncovered. I may lose some foliage, but I'm not going to worry about that. The bok choy and stuff, I've left for pollinators anyways, so if that dies, we're not concerned. Maybe what I will do is cover garlic and onions. Maybe we'll do that. We will put the sheet kind of across the bed from like the garden fence this way. Yeah. Garlic is an important crop to me, and I don't want to lose it because it's looking really good. And I have seen that the leaves can go a bit brown if they get frostburnt, and it's up pretty high. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Thanks for helping me figure that out. Okay, so here's what we've ended up doing, guys. Got some pots on every one of the broad beans. It's a little bit of overkill, but why not, right? And I didn't just put one pot on. They're like tripled up, just to give them a little extra protection. We put the little blanket down, just with tent pegs. Let me zoom in on one for you. So they're just pinned in there with tent pegs all the way around. So yeah, that's that. And then across the back here, oh, and I see it's already coming undone, so I'm gonna have to fix that. I just covered the cilantro with a blanket because it was looking really lovely, and I don't know, I didn't want to lose my whole crop of cilantro. But that's the thing, see how the corner's already lifting up? So that's part of the reason you do this in the afternoon before it gets windy and stuff. Figure out where your weak points are. The pots over here, that was the lovage, so it's under a big pot, and I just put some rocks on top of things. These guys here, I just